Matthew Lee, Inner City Press, on behalf of the Free UN Coalition for Access, hoping for more question and answer in 2018. So on Cameroon, you visited, I know, in late October. Since then, some Anglophone leaders have been arrested or abducted in Nigeria, where I know your deputy was. I wanted to know what the UN system is doing about this now cross-border problem. Thanks a lot.
Well, as a matter of fact, in relation to that, we have done several initiatives, and some of them even led to the release of people. But and we'll go on engaging with all the states involved.
Okay, here we are. It's Tuesday, January 16th. This is the United Nations. We're going in through the tourist entrance, having been, as investigative journalists, thrown out by the UN and still restricted. Yesterday we asked the UN about publication in the Philippines, the Rappler having its license revoked. UN had no comment, no knowledge. The spokesman hadn't seen it, as is so often the case, but he had seen a way to have Inner City Press thrown out of the briefing room for covering UN corruption and the Eng Lap Seng case. Now, we're covering the Patrick Ho case, in which China Energy Fund Committee of Patrick Ho used its UN access, which it still has, by the way, to bribe then PGA Sam Kutesa, Foreign Minister of Uganda, President of the General Assembly, for access to oil in Uganda. That's all according to an indictment, U.S. government indictment in the Southern District of New York. And Mr. Guterres hasn't even started an audit of that. Nor has he responded to the mass killings, crackdown, breakdown in southern Cameroon. We're going in. So Inner City Press arrived on time to go cover this Guterres thing, but we were delayed and now he's come by. This is a travesty. Should not need a minder, should not need a minder. Any other journalist that was here on time could be standing in front, but we have to get a minder because this place is so corrupt. That team is fully informed of it. For covering Eng Lap Seng and now Patrick Ho, restricted as they pontificate around. Okay. I'm with her. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. No, it's okay. Yeah. Yeah, no. Just set up there. Not allowed. Yep. So we'll broadcast from here. Here's the Deputy Permanent Representative of Fiji. He's going in. Everyone wants to hear Guterres's. The one thing he won't admit to is that he runs a corruption shop in which investigative media is restricted and know nothing, no show, sycophants have full access. This has been going on for some time now. Shark skin, hey, shiny shoot. We were here on time. If it weren't for the eviction and restriction and Kafka-esque Alison Smale censor fest, we would have already been here when we wanted to stake it out. But we had to go get a minder, and through no fault of the individual, they weren't ready. And so we stood in Malu as the people we were seeking to ask questions to breezed right past. Thank you, Alison Smale. Thank you, Antonio Guterres. Everything that's said here is hypocrisy. Seriously. They love freedom of the press. Yeah, right. They love self-determination. We missed the Guter due to this censorship of Miss Alison Smale's Department of Public Information. She never answered a letter. From the moment she took office in September, we wrote her a letter saying, what sense does it make that the most active journalist here is more restricted than any other journalist? Does it make sense, or does it make the place look like a joke? What are the rules? When does suspension end? Why was there no hearing, no appeal? And you know what? This paragon of journalism, this former New York Times journalist, never answered it. Never answered it. At one point, from the podium, after a briefing that she moderated, one of the few, she said, I understand that we owe you the courtesy of a response, and there never was one. Not one. That was in October. The following day, brought about by her deputy, Maher Nasser, three-time loser for the post, Inner City Press received a threat to its accreditation. Hello. For filming with this very phone a photo op on the 38th floor, which is our right. Now, yesterday, we got a hint of what it may have been. Mr. Miroslav Yencha said, I hope my phone doesn't go off. Because once when we were filming one, his phone went off with some Trump alert, or anti-Trump alert, as the case may be. And we did write about it, but it was a public event. The UN is a joke. Is that the UN is a place of absolute corruption and censorship, as you've just seen. To be continued.
I'd like to send the English
Press conference, trying to ask all questions. Okay, here we go. We're going to head to the UN Secretary General's press conference. It begins in one moment. What we can say is, first we want to show you, this is the booth that we work in because the UN threw inner city press in the street for covering UN corruption. But now we go from this booth. It's a little small, admittedly, and we're actually often unable even to work in here to edit the video that we make of the various non-answers. But today we hope to get an answer, or more than one. And so we're going in. We may have to suspend and then restart, but watch this feed. This periscope is going to go the distance. First we got to get out of our booth. Okay, here's how it works. This was the room, actually. Set up shop. Hey, there's some more photographers. All right. There's a lot of interest because he rarely answers any questions at all. Let's take that. But here we go. Here we go. Photographers. Hey, what's up? Let's see. At times we'll have to put this guy down on the floor, but there he'll sit. He'll come through there. Oh. Are you taking the input? Yeah, he better answer questions.
All right, good afternoon. We'll make some opening remarks, and then we will be delighted to take your questions.
Lee, Inner City Press, on behalf of the Free UN Coalition for Access, hoping for more question and answer in 2018, as you said. In November, there was an indictment announced in federal court downtown of the head of an ECOSOC accredited NGO for allegedly bribing the President of the General Assembly, Sam Kutesa, to benefit the China Energy Fund Committee. And I wanted to ask you, that remains still in the Global Compact, and there hasn't been even an audit or anything created. Why haven't you started an audit in that case? Why is the beneficiary of what's described as bribery in the UN still in the Global Compact? And how do your reforms preclude or make impossible this type of bribery that's now happened twice, under John Ash, may he rest in peace, and under Sam Kutesa, and also on Cameroon?
In relation to other cases, I would like to say that I'm not aware of presence in compact or whatever. I will have to look into it. I will look into it. What is clear for me is that we don't want the compact to have companies that do not abide by the set of principles that were defined in the constitution of the compact. There is a code of conduct that is there and that should be respected. So I don't know exactly what happens in the compact in that regard. I will look into that.
Sort of an answer on Cameroon, sort of an answer on corruption. We'll write them both up, but we did ask them. To be continued.